Hello, I will show you how to effectively and cheaply fix a broken truss bar on a pop-up canopy. I have this pop-up canopy, I love it, it works great, but I put it up in the wind and it blew away and a couple of the bars got bent. I looked online for replacement parts, and for some reason this company doesn't sell replacement parts. Some other companies do, but they're outrageously expensive, and this is a really cheap way to fix it. You can see the bend on this bar is at the top, but the fix that I will show you will work no matter where the bend is in your bar. I have another one that I have to do as well where the bend is right in the middle. It doesn't matter how damaged it is, this fix will work. The first thing you'll need to do is remove the truss bar from the rest of the canopy. I needed an Allen wrench for mine and it just unscrewed. Yours might be a little bit different. You might need a screwdriver, maybe you'll need an Allen wrench. Either way, it should be pretty easy to do. There'll be 4 spots where they connect. Unscrew all of the hardware and then put them aside to a safe place where you know you won't lose them later. Then unscrew the middle section so that both bars separate. Next, you'll need to straighten out your truss bar. I tried to do it by hand, but since my bend was at the end of the bar, it was giving me some trouble. So to get some more leverage, I pressed it up against a concrete wall and was able to bend it that way. You will likely have a cap at the end of your truss bar, so grab some pliers and pull that out. I got this steel flat bar on Amazon for pretty cheap, and it fits right inside of my truss bar to reinforce everything. The one I got is 4 feet long, 3/4 of an inch wide, and 1/8 of an inch thick. There's a link in the description to the one that I bought. I'm going to slide the steel bar through the truss bar, and then I'm going to mark the holes where I'm going to drill so that the screws can go through. This one might fit yours, but I would measure it before you buy it online. I do have one minor issue that I wanted to show you. My original plan was to cut the new steel bar down enough so that I can get this end cap back on the truss bar. But after looking at it and seeing where the bend was on my bar, I wanted to make sure that the steel bar went through enough, which would mean that I won't be able to put the end cap back on. So I'm going to leave the end cap off for good. This may apply to your situation, it may not, depending on how your canopy is made and where your bend is and how you want to move forward. So that's just one thing to consider about this. Next, mark where you're going to cut your steel bar. Since I'm leaving my end cap off, I'm just going to mark right at the end of it. If you're going to try to get your end cap back on, just make sure you measure and account for that before you cut it. Since we're drilling a hole into the steel bar, we're going to need to punch a dimple in first so that the drill bit has a place to rest. If you skip this step, you're going to have a hard time keeping the drill center and in place while you're drilling. And now we're going to drill the hole through the steel bar so that these screws can go through. I used a 3/4 of an inch cobalt drill bit, which is made specifically for drilling through steel. If you do not have one of these, I highly recommend that you pick one up. There is a link below in the description. You could probably get away with using a regular drill bit, but you're going to have a hard time doing it and it's going to dull it and you're probably going to have to replace it anyway afterwards. And next we're going to cut the steel bar so that it fits inside of the truss bar without sticking out. I have 2 repairs I have to make on my canopies, so as a test I decided to cut them 2 different ways to see which way was better, and the answer is that the Dremel worked really well. I also tried a hacksaw and it got the job done, but it wasn't pretty. So if you have a Dremel or some sort of metal cutting tool, obviously use that. If you do not have one and you do not want to invest in one, then you can get the job done with a hacksaw. It just will take a little bit more time, a little bit more effort, and it won't come out as pretty. But it will save you some money if you do not want to buy new tools to do this. Although you will probably have to replace the hacksaw blade. once you're done with this because it will be pretty dull. Make sure you're using all the proper safety gear while you're working through all of this, whether you're drilling the holes or you're cutting the steel bar. Make sure that you have gloves on and eye protection. And finally, we are going to put everything back together. So slide your steel bar inside of your truss bar and then reinstall the center hardware to reconnect the two truss bars together. And then put your repaired truss bar back on the canopy the same way you took it off. And there you have it. A canopy that was blown away in the wind and all bent out of shape is now completely repaired and is actually probably stronger than it was before because the steel bars that we put in are much stronger than the truss bars that the canopy is made out of. So I highly recommend giving this a try if you cannot find replacement truss bars yourself, or if you find them and they're outrageously expensive, because this is a relatively easy and cheap fix. If you do try it, leave me a note in the comments. I'd love to hear how it works out for you. And if you found this video helpful, please like the video. It helps other people find it better. I don't care if you subscribe, but the like to the video would be super helpful. Thank you and good luck.